We're just doing a little mid-month update. If you haven't seen this before, the real point of this channel is to do these different things to reach more people, to reach a bigger audience, people who are interested in poker and who have skills. And if you can do some things like video editing or audio editing, or if you're just like kind of business guy, I'm basically trying to find some people, talk more about that. But let's get in contact. I want to, use some of my poker resources and my money to help you out. So anyone who has like sketch artists who can design or basically make any of this more visually appealing or production better, let me know. Let's talk. I want to hire someone like you. I want to work with someone like you. I'm trying to build a team here. This graph is my month so far. I wanted to get 75,000 hands in. I'm doing a 1,000,000 hand challenge, trying to get that 1,000,000 hands done by March. I need to get like at least 75,000 hands this month. It seems like I'm pretty far behind. If you want to give me action on that, that's something that I want to do in the future. So without further ado though, let us just switch into a video. Mainly doing this stream impromptu. This video is for a coach. I'm just going to get into it. I want to review it to see if it's actually a good video before I send it to this coach. I'm a little distressed in the video, and that's what he wants to see, and it's like a first impression with a coach, and I want to make sure that I feel comfortable with this, that it is an appropriate video to send to this coach. I'm going to mix in some here. I have my desktop audio now.
I see a flop with eights for sure. I don't want to get 4-bet. Small blind sucks there. I mean, there's a lot of money in the pot. There's definitely arguments for 3-betting or just a small blind, basically 3-bet or not see the flop. But there's other fishy players in here who are short. This player is very tight. And now I'm in a very difficult spot, obviously. Maybe that's one of the better arguments is now I'm paying rake in a more difficult spot to be in instead of just trying to win a pre-flop.
So I think my read on this player changes over time here.
So with this king 10 on the button, I will just play a button there. This king 7, same thing. I may call here with eights, but I'm not going to.
King 10 I fold.
At a showdown value, this guy definitely fires so many overcard.
A fold as well.
With his range.
It gets kind of tough here adjusting to the speed of this. This is just a session where I wasn't really super interested in recording.
They seem to be really tight. Is what I'm making all these assumptions off of 1% 3-bet. I'll let that go.
But the coach wanted to get.
Bet here, up here with king 7. This is obviously to defend. He has some draws here that just got hit. Broadway textures like that are kind of annoying. I'm still ahead of some of his range. I'm going to probably employ this bet here and maybe just get a free showdown of it. I could polarize here and maybe try to do the same thing for a free showdown as well. But I'll just keep betting. I think I'm okay with that. With a cold call here, that's pretty uncomfortable for me. I'm going to try to play my range, though, and bet. My most interest, this guy's going to actually float me very wide here and call pre-flop very wide, too. His stats are essentially 0% fold to raise. This is one of the things that you'll find out after playing this pool. Ah, crap, I missed that. Darn, I wanted to get on that list. Oh, well. Is that, yeah, you do. I have made a lot of plays so far before I made this video that I realized were player dependent and not, anonymous based. And that's fine. I can just duck out of here. I'm not super interested in, I didn't really feel bad about not trying to realize some backdoor equity. I wanted to put people in some uncomfortable spots. And that's fine, not seeing a turn.
Okay, so maybe I could just save that bet there, or maybe even bet a quarter in the future, just to give the check raise a little worse odds. And I'll try not to talk over, and hopefully that audio is good now from the desktop, from the recording earlier. I do want to make sure that I don't sound too much like a knucklehead for this video. Obviously, this coach I was saying wants me to play a little bit distressed, and I wasn't having my session. I wasn't super on it this session. I was fun. It was a little swingy. We were getting in some spots, some thin areas.
All right, we'll bring a 2-5 into this. To go over, my tags are green, are generally The better guys who play up to at least 510 in orange are regulars who, just see as grinders. And this light blue is kind of annoying. I haven't seen this guy for a while, and now he's sitting at 2-5 in my small blind, so that'll be interesting. Mick is always a challenge, always willing to battle. Ranges are kind of interesting and wide sometimes. Sometimes aggressive frequencies are really hard to deal with. He knows when to kind of like pour it on. So we'll see. I sat down at this game because I don't know what will be this two players to my left.
I'm usually viewing these on the projector, and I don't think I'll be able to comfortably view the 6 tables on the projector.
My best and only chance to win with 7-8 right here with a small bet right there, multi-way. I mean, my hand doesn't have much values otherwise, so I'm just kind of going with that for now. We'll fold that small blind naturally there. Don't pick up backdoor hearts. 3 is very much a brick. Very much slow plays in both these guys' ranges still, and a lot of strong calls. I'm just kind of basically give up. I was kind of a one and done bluff in my mind. Now I wonder, now I have really obviously no showdown value, and I'm wondering if changing the plan is good here. It's tough because if I just would be betting a hand like ace king here, I don't know how. Don't think I'd have a lot of like traps or any slow plays here. I think I'm just gonna go. I think it's too hard to stop and go here multi-way. And if I was to bet a hand like ace king here, I would bet like probably 2/3 or so, and that's just too naturally gonna get called. So an overbet size, I would think I'd have to employ to get folds here, and that's not really natural. I'm not really doing that. I don't think. I'm going to forego ace-4 here. This guy, or maybe not. I'll just call here. I can't. I would like to continue with this hand, actually. Maybe this is like or a GTO random number generator thing would be good.
The problem with this is I do want to continue against this guy in this position, and I'm going to turn down the desktop audio. I don't really do. I started playing basically too many tables, trying to narrate through too many decisions right here, and I play a bunch of these things kind of poorly. Ace-4 suited, I should probably just fold it because I could 4-bet it, or it's definitely good enough against his range here. And I can get back into the audio.
I gotta drop some tables. What tables am I dropping? This guy has a very high call probing on the turn and river. I don't really have. Is my ace high actually showdown here? It is against like king, queen, some other stuff. Low pocket pairs. I think he constructs his range that he can call here some certain amount. Am I going to lose to his ace high? It's possible. If I was going to start bluffing though, I probably would have done it on the turn and polarizing then. So this 8 doesn't really change much for me. I do have some range at bets here. I don't know. I just don't want to overdo it with bluffs against that guy. That's fine. I'm going to lose to 3-3 every once in a while, but I think I don't know. What am I going to do? 2x there? Would he call with 3-3s? That guy is definitely kind of maybe curious enough to do that.
I'm still willing to believe at some frequency that is the type of player, him specifically, who will think like, oh, that's weird, like king, queen off. This guy realized he got to the river, he realizes he has no showdown, so he's going to 2x it here.
And I put out just
in that spot
there at 100% range. That guy shouldn't have kings a lot, so maybe I can just deny a lot of equity. I'm going to open queen 10. It's interesting, this guy, Susie, my hand is strong here. My hand is really strong. I don't want to get check raise. I think I only really want one more bet going in, and I don't know if maybe I can get a little value with my 5 or maybe on the river as a bluff catch. think I'll check back and just to make sure I get to the river. Ace 9 here against this person. I'm going to create some sort of construct a range, or hopefully it's only 2 bets that go in from here because I want to play a little defensive. And we're going to defend Queen 10 here against this kind of person who I want to play pots with. And we'll raise our 2 pair. I think that's kind of a natural size. If he shoves him, there's a lot worse. So we got to that other spot here. I'm going to check here. I can definitely... Well, I said I was going to check call there with the ace 9. Now I did the exact same thing before. Now what is he going to do? Will he do the same? I definitely have to get some sort of value there.
I need to fix the size of that table there. He had kings, and so he just played that passively, obviously, with the ace on the board.
Ranges are a lot different there under the gun versus the previous hand of buttons. I couldn't really think of exactly what the good bet size was there, but there had to be one. So I just kind of went with it. Tens, I'm kind of tempted to just call here.
This hand is a disaster.
It's really worth turning it into a bluff. This guy's definitely going to abuse a position a lot. But also, I don't want to fold. I kind of want to see a flop. And maybe I can... I think it's better to bet here. I think it's unreliable. It's for him, maybe for him to bet. And with top pair and it breaking out like that, I'm going to bet. On a weird board like this where I have maybe some of the middle, well, actually, I think all these guys are capable of definitely having this kind of middle and diamonds too. I want to apply pressure here somewhat, I think. So I'm going to do that just because I want people to define if they're really strong and polarizing. I want them to do that now. To keep ranges wide, because I'm not nutted up, I'm super far ahead here, I would think, but I'm not nutted. And to keep ranges wide and to keep more of his bluffs in, I'm just going to check here.
I agree with that logic, and then I think it all goes bad here.
Let's see, he probably has, that queen is pretty good because it removes queen king, queen jack, queen 10, which are all flushes, ace queen, so ace king, diamonds. Gosh, that's annoying. He's setting it up. Maybe I want to check raise him here. My hand can't really get any better. His maybe could. I don't know if I want to deny his bluffs. I'm not sure if, sometimes he just has a better range here. Am I just bluffing into too strong of a range if I do this? I think I'm going to try this anyway. I don't know if he has jacks here. I'm just doing it. Yeah, he's nutted up. All right, that's too bad. And so that's why I should 4-bet there pre-flop. Unfortunately, whatever, that happens. Wide button range.
So I stepped out of line there by not playing my normal just 4-bet there, and got punished for it immediately, basically. Lost a guy flopping just, sort of highly unlikely, and then me getting there, and, and then obviously punting not knowing the situation that well by deviating.
We'll defend king through here. No backdoor diamonds. Really makes the hand uninteresting. King now has some showdown value. I don't know. Maybe we can just get there cheaply with a check and try to think that there's some part of his range we can get there, but we look very weak with 2 checks here, so we'll see what happens. What are we going to do here with 8s? We check back a flop that is pretty good for our overpairs. And usually a range bet because we have a huge advantage. So that was kind of a mistake. So we'll polarize a little bit more here to just apply pressure. Maybe our range got a lot more hands in it, like 9-10s, jack 10s, things like that are interesting, 6-5s. That somehow didn't bet the flop. And I guess we should probably just bluff here because he has 4s and 5s maybe that wanted to show down now. and we have to move them off. Our king high is probably not reliable. So we could do that with sevens as well as a queen and as well as hearts.
So that feels pretty good. I think that's right. Because there's definitely a few spots in here. I'm curious to find out. After I go through this coaching session, it'll be really exciting. I basically want to put this video up there, see what kind of feedback I get after he goes through it, and maybe kind of dissect some of that and come back to this one later. So if you have any questions about hands, if you post some or ask them about this, I will get some better feedback to you very soon.
Yeah, I'm kind of expecting this guy to play poker. This is a kind of tough spot where, I don't want that many more bets to go in. I guess I don't want him to realize equity because he has a lot of it, but my pair is almost better, but obviously he could be way more nutted than me right now. And here's another thing with nines. I mean, I guarantee if I squeeze here, I will get called in that many spots. So I'm going to make a weird small blind call there and just play maybe more for sets. With ace-4, I'm going to apply pressure. He doesn't really hit that much. What would I do with overpairs? Maybe bet a little more, so I'm going to do that. And now, I don't really have a lot of eights. I don't know how many times he's going to bluff this river. I don't really know if I want to check raise bluff this river. I'm going to maybe try to bet here and get some value. Maybe it looks like I'm bluffing with a miss. It's tough for him to have really any pairs or any hand here now, though. Now there's hands like all kind of middling, 8, 9, stuff like that. I now beat some hands like 5s and 4s. I think I just want to see a river here instead of applying pressure, but maybe it is better to just apply some more pressure. So that way I can see a river and check back a river cheaply with a chop ace potentially. Four is good in the sense that, if he doesn't have there's very unlikely he has any sort of set of counterfeited 4s. How many 7s and 8s does he have? He has so many other missed. There's so much air here, but I'm just calling to chop basically. The question is, can I raise after betting polar and then betting smaller? This donk line, I don't know much about this player. Maybe this is his desperation. I'm just going to call here. And I kind of lost focus on this 9s hand here, but this could be a slow play jack for sure, but my 9s have showdown value, and I could still get a full house or something. So I'm going to check and see how that develops. Unfortunately, my 9 of hearts blocks a lot of maybe some combo draws he has on the turn. His bet here is interesting. I mean, it's just 6s full, some sort of jack. He has so many jacks here. I don't know how many bluffs he has, unfortunately. My 9s have so much showdown value, though, to get 1 1/4. I don't know if I can fold kings this early, but that's going to be tough to play. Crap.
This guy wrecks me. I incorrectly fold kings here to a small raise on what was a multi-way flop with the small blind also in it. Given that I just bet so small my quarter pot, I should be over defending there to a small raise. He can just apply a lot of pressure, which he did with queen 7. So he was basically drawing dead, and I folded a tremendous winner there.
So that was too many hands. I mean, that king's hand, that just didn't seem right at all. And if he was stronger, he would definitely just sort of go there for the overcall with some sort of flushed hand. There's a lot of hands that he can raise there to apply pressure with. And my bet is kind of weak. So wrecked. He got me good. And four-handed, I mean, God, I just gotta check back here. I guess it's just too probable that one of them has an ace. Just take it to the turn.
And so on here, that makes sense for this table. I don't really see any other way of playing this line after it plays out. But I'll be curious to see if there is some other thoughts about this, because it is interesting spot. There's always really weird, tough dynamics when you're incentivized to like bet and move up into a higher EV bracket, but you're also on the button and you don't want to reopen to potentially like 3 or 4 people.
I don't want to fall into some sort of like, it would be weird to just raise here. I have some, inclination and interest, but nothing better is going to fold for sure, right? There's no like ace 2. Sixes, I'm going to let that go. Jack 10, let that go. Let go. And it's so likely that this one of these is an ace, but 1 in 10 times.
So I need to fix all these like zoom in sizes. I'm not sure why those are off, but he had ace queen there for top pair, obviously.
And I don't really like, I guess, calling here. That I think I'm going to get squeezed some chance, but I want to, purple is a fish and I have position, so let's set mine. I don't think the button's likely to squeeze, but one of the 2 orange regulars. I'm going to steal this button from a regular. Aces, maybe I should strengthen my check back range with an ace here. I have a lot of pairs. I don't really need to do that. And this board, it's going to change so much. If he's interested, I'm going to bet a larger size. He can connect with it. We're just going to get the money in.
I think that board is definitely strong enough for him to just check raise all in there.
To play here to draw this.
He's put me on ace king.
I think I am drawing, obviously. I don't think they have a lot of ace king off. Maybe. But we can just let that go. We don't have to do that. They're not really inclined so much with 3 people, at least somewhat, even though that is their board with the ace. Here's a great spot to just quarter pot bet. I got to speed up all my decisions. I'm losing time bank for when I actually need them. Nut advantage. Let's see what happens. This guy can have a lot of 2 pairs here that he could potentially check raise. A lot of ace queens as well. I obviously want to get money. I think it's a very natural call here for the range. It's kind of a spot where I may have to shove here. Is he going to have better than me? This is what's interesting. If I don't repot on the flop, which is natural, to maybe just put equity in against a shorter guy. And it's not the worst thing now if we just get it in. Do I want to try to get fold? Shit. Pardon me. This is obviously maybe some mental stuff right here. I can't fold here. I'm just going to raise equity, hoping to realize some fold equity. Obviously, I have, if I get it in, I'm probably behind. Sure, there with my equity. I need to win the hand somehow, and I didn't want to have to rely on potentially him betting the river again, bluffing me with an ace high, and then I'm in a difficult decision. Now, mommy here, I am going to respect an under the gun range that I'm thinking is probably tight. I could maybe get it away with a 3-bet bluff here somewhat, but I'm going to respect that. This is my natural c-bet. Natural c-bet from a guy here that also is inclined to check raise. I want to size down maybe a little bit, and I'm just, if he does do that, we'll just probably go with it on the flop.
So he has queen 4. You can't see the kicker.
Here, this is interesting. This guy is definitely potentially testing me out. I don't know.
This is the same person who just got it in with top pair, lower kicker.
I should float his check raise here. I think he's going to fire a lot of turns. I have obviously this is probably a solver continues here with backdoors and ace high, potentially the best hand against things like Jack 10 and such. So pretty clear call. When he checks here, it's a little interesting. The 7 is not super useful. I should probably start thinking about bluffing because I have a lot of kings. I also have a lot of misses as well. But when he checks here, his range is going to be pretty weak.
And I'll have to adjust some of these. I see now they're not so clear for like bet sizes and everything like that. If you have any feedback on the production, I mean, this one is kind of
invite both purple players in here, but I think
half-assed.
the best way to play this hand is just with a 3-bet with the king queen. It's obviously not really a multi-way hand anyway, but I'm thinking these are definitely more interesting things here. Orange is most likely just going to 4-bet me now here, and then it's just going to get uncomfortable. So, not that I'm not fine with a 4-bet range like that. I think this guy's still a little early and a little tight. So some defending like a king-queen off as a 4-bet here is maybe not 100%. Certainly not a pure thing. I wish that was a pure thing. Hopefully he doesn't have 4s. I don't know if I should polarize here. The board can really, really change. I'm going to polarize here because the board is quite dynamic. If he's going to hit this board at all, it's probably a draw himself, like a Jack-10, or maybe I can make an uncomfortable spot here with like a 9-9. So Jack-10 and 9-9 both get there for him. Which is really unfortunate for me. I don't know how many diamonds here do I want to protect against. How many Jack-10s? That's like 6 combinations maybe that he gets here with now on the turn. I think I still have to bet here to apply some pressure and get value, get into a higher node. Who knows? I would do that with ace-king and ace-ace, right? I mean, I could protect against here what could be some sort of donk range, but maybe he'll just check raise all in here as a bluff, thinking he can realize with like an ace-10 of diamonds. If he has me out nutted, I'm going to pay this man off anyway. I'm kind of changing his bluff range around, but I think it's still important to deny equity there and try to get value. And, obviously I still have some range. It's just that specific hand with those combinations. He has a lot less other kings and queens that I can get stuff from.
Makes you wonder what he had. Probably like a 10-10 or Jack-Jack there. I mean, but even still, maybe that appeals for the small size. Who knows? 8s.
Man, I think I'm just going to try to really shit on small blind here. Pardon my French. It's not usually what I would say or think, but it makes it really difficult because we're probably going to go 4-way now. And my cards are probably clean in a lot of ways. They're not nutted, which is unfortunate, and they're not even connected. But everyone's going to have to play really upfront and honest now. And so that's fine. Ace, king, and 5-5. See, so if I would have saw a flop there, I would have been in a tremendous spot. Crazy back raise. 5-5. That makes sense, I guess, if he thinks that there's just tons of squeeze in GG's range there, which is true. There is. So I took check, check. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to lead here. Susie floats me with a lot of aces. That doesn't matter. There's also a lot of spades and other things in the range. I'm wondering if I should bet more, but I obviously have a lot of aces and no showdown value, so I'm just going to bet. I don't know if this guy is going to float bet me here. I would like to realize equity. Maybe I can do that with just a cheaper bet. I have obviously overcards and backdoor diamonds, and a couple of different straight draws. If I just check and he like 3/4 it, I'm not exactly happy about that. Here he is raising me, recognizing my weak bet. I'm going to call here an out of position float. Maybe this hand shouldn't have gotten any bets in the first place, but we're going to see what the turn brings. I can't really represent diamonds. I mean, on some sense, a donk is challenging for this guy here. I mean, the nuts kind of change, but he also is maybe raising to the nuts. But a donk may be really challenging, and I still have to win this hand. You know, I probably don't have a lot of 10-10. He doesn't have a lot of 9-7. So his range is going to be pretty strong here. He's going to have some even jacks plus here. I'm going to raise his jack king to get the fish there. I'm going to try a larger size to do it. I have 2 sizes in the small blind there. 10-9, I am going to, oh gosh, this guy's really tight. I'm going to try to still squeeze up. Shh, I'm not going to squeeze. And against such a small raise, I have to call there with queen 9.
And so we folded to my turn
probably
donk.
not open in the first place. What was I doing? I should get out of this table. So that king hits him better than it hits me, unfortunately. So I still have to concede. And now maybe with his ace high showdown value, would he call here with ace high? So the 8 is not great. Obviously, he has a lot of 9s in his range. My ace queen here, I am actually going to strengthen it with a check back. I usually normally deploy the 1/4% pot, but you have to, you know, keep some strong hands in a check back. Queen's not nutted, but it's still pretty strong. So if I'm going to strengthen that range, I'll just run out a boat. And I still have a draw here. I still maybe have the best hand, like ace 10. There's some other diamonds, some other things. The 9's uncomfortable. I think if he has a flush or anything better, he probably raises on the flop. I have a huge ace-king advantage, which he just has to be aware of. Interesting, this guy polarized.
Yeah, the sequence was this guy limp called under the gun.
Pot is 88. So I'll just pot it. I'm not going to 2x it. This actually leaves him room to rebluff. And so by taking this line, I'm going to call here. Nuts. He has ace king. All right. I got kind of distracted there. He'd really have to be turning a low hand into a bluff there, which hopefully that person is capable of doing with a high bet river there, was my thought process. I didn't think that ace king would ever be in the range there. You know, 9, I guess. Some flushes, obviously a lot. I have obviously some better hands to bluff catch with there. I can do it some certain frequencies, but still just calling that. And we're just going to call this a session here. Hand like that may have been a big blunder. In terms of frequencies, maybe I just had way too many. We'll have to figure that out. And orange is a good regular. I should change his tag to light blue. But that's my board, so we bet it.
And we finished strong. There's one more hand here coming up.
Against this guy, I want to deny some equity here with ace high. I have showdown value, obviously.
Does anyone call this? I do for the video. I'm curious to the GTO.
Slow play the nuts, or he slow played basically. Now he's kind of fast playing. Makes me inclined. Makes me think that he's a little more bluffy. Jacks are kind of tough to have. It's unfortunate that my 9 kicker here is not that great. My 9 because that blocks some of his hands. And this is maybe way overdoing it. This is the kind of stuff where, like, you know, GTO is doing extended floats here because he shouldn't have that much. And, you know, it's unfortunate. A small check raise half-half. He's slightly sized up from the half before. That's probably maybe for value. This is the kind of guy who could have like an ace-king. I don't know. Shove may just be too suicidal. like, I don't know if I shove even 9-10 and that gets there, which I could be representing. I obviously know showdown value. I'm not going to go into that node, but I'm going to bet here, and I'm going to do the same size again.
All right, so we have Jack 10, Ace King suited, and 9
And
all pretty
big
solid
range
hands.
advantage here on this low board. He has more 4s, 2s, 6s, small stuff like that in his big blind, but I have all the overpairs. That Jack is obviously a lot mine now as well. I wish I had this guy's stats in front of me. I'm going to do this thing with Ace King to simplify the hand, and I'm going to bet my 9s down here. So we're hoping that he doesn't have 5-3 suited, 6-4 off. I mean, there's some 6-4 suited, 6-4s and 2s, all these things. Kind of curious here if he's going to be owning me a check raise. I don't know if this is like, see, yeah, he's doing this now. Does he have Ace King? What can I do? He doesn't want to miss value with a hand like 6s or 4s, and so he's just doing that. Maybe he has a 7-8 miss and this is his only chance of winning. King 6. All right, frustrating. And I got to raise here with my 9s, obviously. I'm not just going to call there and give some free equity. And I'm going to give up with Ace King here. I didn't see bet that flop on a 50-50 kind of board. The 7 is tremendously good here for me. I don't think Susie is ever raising like a drawing hand like Jack 10 here. So I think she's going to be strong. So I think she's going to be calling. And I'm certainly best here. There's no way, unless she has queen, queen. I think this is going to be like ace, queen a lot. Maybe queen 2, some the other like random queen 9 suited.
So I think that turn bet is pretty good because you can recognize that
So
the worst thing that would
I'm
happen
really
would be
blasting. They're
not
probably
getting to the
asking
river.
to be
So,
like king, king.
but you still need to size it.
They're wondering if I have king, king here, and if I would do that with king, king. Or they're wondering if I have king, jack here. I wouldn't play. Maybe I would bluff king, jack like that. They probably think I'm capable of that if I have a bluff. So they go into that bluff catching mode. Great.
Cool. Thanks for watching. That's going to go out to a poker coach. You know, you want to tell me that you can coach me and do a lot better? Please do. Help me out. You know, I got to get good at this thing. Or maybe I can coach you and help you out.